Well, good morning and welcome to Princess Risborough Town Council's first ever virtual farmers market. I know it's a very challenging time here and across our country at the moment, and the Town Council is very proud of the work we're doing with our high street retailers, with our market traders, and we didn't want to miss the opportunity to showcase some of the wonderful products and services we have in our fantastic community. So today we have a huge range of food producers and cooking shows and demonstrations from members of the public, from professional teams, all showing you the very best of our community. Throughout the day, you will be able to place your orders, and later on this afternoon, they will be whizzed across to you by a great team of volunteers. Over 85 volunteers are helping out in this scheme, and we're rapidly approaching 4,000 deliveries. So as your mayor, I just want to thank you so much for supporting our community, safeguarding our high street, and let's enjoy the next 4 hours of fun.
Hi, my name's Laura and I'm Mrs. Mayor. Welcome to our kitchen. I'm going to show you some of the things that me and Matt the Mayor have been doing with our leftover vegetables from the Risborough Basket scheme. The first thing I'm going to show you today is a quick and easy experiment that you can do in your kitchen to show your children how and why plants use water. All you need for this simple experiment is a glass of water, some food dye and a stick of leafy celery. So the first thing you're going to do is pop your food dye into the water. It doesn't need to be much, just enough to colour the water a nice dark colour. Pop your leafy celery into your glass and leave it in a nice warm sunlit place for 24 hours. Now, after 24 hours, what you should see is the plant's leaves have picked up the colouring of your food dye. This is because the plant's internal straw has sucked up the water and delivered it into the leaves where it needs it. About 99% of that water is going to evaporate into the air, but the 1% that's left is going to be used for a process called photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis is how our plant gets food for itself. Photosynthesis uses sunlight and the carbon dioxide that we breathe out in the air to make food for your plant. While the leaves are busy engaging in photosynthesis, the roots are still busy absorbing water to send up the xylem to send the nutrients the plant needs to the leaves for photosynthesis to occur. Without that water, photosynthesis can't occur and our plants will die. We want to see your celery's progress, so post your comments to the Risborough Baskets website and let us know how you get on. Now we know how to look after plants, I'm going to show you some really fun ways to grow your own fruit and vegetables in your kitchen. All the fruit and vegetables I'm using here today you can get from www.risboroughbasket.co.uk. So your lettuce, your spring onions and your herbs are all started in the same way. Now these are some nasty old spring onions that I've had for a little while that we didn't use. So what I'm going to do is even out those ends and take off about 2 inches just before the turn green. I'm going to do the same with my leek and take off about 2 inches. The same with my lettuce and take off the nice hard bit at the bottom. You don't want any of the leafy greens, I'll use this for my salad later. And the same with our celery, which we've already done because we used for our experiment. The next thing we need to do is grab a glass of water for each of our vegetables. Now, my fullest glass of water is going to have my celery in it. What you want is the roots sitting in it, but not the green vegetables. The green vegetables, if they sit in the water, will go mouldy and they will not grow. We're going to take 1 for each and pop the hard part of the vegetables into the water. With the spring onions, pop them up against the side of the glass so it's just the roots sitting in and none of the green. Your herbs, this is a mint, this is a very sad looking mint plant I've got. I'm going to pop off the last 2 leaves. Now I'm using a test tube because I have them at home, but you can easily use a glass. What we're going to do is sit that leaf in the water. Now, over the next 5 to 7 days, these vegetables are going to root. They're going to grow nice, long, healthy looking white roots. When they've grown them, and maybe even they start poking out the top, you're going to plant them in some soil. Next up, we're going to look at our garlic and our potatoes. With your garlic, you need to peel it all the way back. You need to take all of the wrapping off. All of the paper around the outside, you need to peel away. Anything loose you find, get rid of. Anything that's not part of the clove itself, or the roots themselves, get rid of. What you'll find is there's little straggly ends on the top. If you pull those back, they'll pull away the wrappers and the outer coating themselves. And what you'll be left with is these lovely, fresh cloves. Now, you can do this with any aged garlic. I've done it with a new garlic today to show you what you can do. As this is how I started my garlic about probably 4 weeks ago. So I've now cleaned my garlic off and pulled away anything that I don't want on there. And it's like this. I'm then going to grab its own glass of water. Now, this is tricky as you only want the roots sitting in it. Garlic is really, really, really one to rot, so you kind of want a glass of this size. So I found my glass and I'm going to fill that all the way up to the top. And you want to sit your garlic in it the same as you did with your other vegetables, so the roots are touching the water and the rest of the plant is not. Now for your potatoes. What you want to do with your potato is cut it in half and then pop those two halves face down on a piece of kitchen towel to dry for 24 hours. Once they've dried out, you want to pop them in some soil, bottom end down, and cover them over. Next up, we've got our tomato, which is far easier. All you're going to do is cut that tomato in half. Take half of your tomato. Here's my Blue Peter style pot I prepared it. This is just a pot full of soil. You're going to pop your tomato in and cover it over. What I've done here is cover the soil over, completely over the tomato. You don't need it too deep, just slightly. Keep that nice and moist and nice and warm in the next few days and you'll start to see that sprout. Now what's slightly trickier is your fruit. Now for your fruit, what you want to do is harvest the seeds from the inside of the fruit itself. So for our apples and our pears, we're going to cut it slightly off centre. When you cut it slightly off centre, what you'll see is the seeds inside, and what you're going to do is pick those seeds out and keep them nice and safe. This is certainly something you're going to want to get your grown-up to help you with. Now you can do this with lots of types of fruit seeds. I've done an apple and I've done a pear in advance. Pears are really, really tricky. You've really got to get them right in the middle, just off centre, to make sure that you get the seeds nice and whole. Now what you're going to do with those seeds, once you've collected them, is grab yourself 2 pieces of kitchen roll, pop the seeds in the centre, and I'm going to pop my pear seeds as well, and fold one piece of kitchen roll over the other. You're then going to slightly dampen your kitchen roll. and pop it in an old lunchbox or an old Tupperware. Pop the lid back on and pop it in the fridge for about 3 to 5 days until you see little green shoots out of the seeds. When you see your little green shoots, they're ready to go in some soil. Now that you've got all your fruit and vegetables wonderfully grown in your glasses, you're going to need to know how to pop them in some soil. For each of the first seed vegetables that I showed you, you're going to take them out of the water and pop them root side down. By this point you should have some really, really strong roots coming out. You pop them root side down in a pot of soil. And cover them just to the top of the vegetable that you had. Now that works the same for spring onions, for lettuce, and for your leek here. Garlic, you're slightly different. What you want to do for your garlic is break away the cloves. So this one is far from being ready, but you want to pull away each individual clove and you want to plant it, like I have done here, about 5 inches apart. If you pop each of the garlic cloves down about an inch, about 5 inches apart from each other, they'll grow nice and healthy and strong. Now mine have wilted a little bit due to the lack of sunlight we've been experiencing lately in the country. However, keep them nice and evenly watered and they will sprout and you will grow new garlic cloves. What I've also got here is some spring onions that I planted about a week and a half ago. Now in here, I've done exactly what I did here. I planted them in some water to start with, grew some really healthy roots, and then popped them in some soil when I was ready. What I've got now is some really great green shoots coming up, which will eventually make me some new spring onions. Now my kitchen's a mess and I hope yours is too. I hope you've enjoyed planting your leftover fruit and vegetables. This is how you can take one Risborough basket and make it last a lifetime. We'd love to see the progress you make. Let us know using the Facebook for the Princess Risborough Basket or the Facebook for the Princess Risborough Town Council. You can also follow me and my vegetable journey on Just a Little Urban Garden on Instagram. Let me know your thoughts, let me know how you get on, and good luck.
Hello and welcome to Princess Risborough Food Festival. I'm Sally, this is
Jack.
And we've been cooking a lot in the kitchen during lockdown, haven't we, Jack?
Oh, we have.
And we've never argued, not once, have we?
Oh God, not a single time.
We've usually got a much smaller kitchen than this, so we've really got the luxury of some space. And we're going to make 3 very simple dishes for you. What are they, Jack?
Some mushroom soup, some Welsh rarebit savoury muffins, and a salad jar.
Great. So we are using a soup maker. Everything we're using today is coming from the Risborough basket and it's something that you can order right now. The soup makers are coming from Princess Risborough Cook Shop. So Jack, let's just show us how to make the soup. It's really easy.
Okay, so to start off, you want to peel all of your mushrooms and you need to make sure they're peeled. This can take some time. If you've got a lot of mushrooms, you want 500 grams of mushrooms to peel and chop.
But we're not really following a recipe here. You can put absolutely anything in the soup maker as long as you follow some basic principles. So it's some fresh fruit and vegetables, some stock and some flavouring. So Jack's favourite is mushroom. I don't particularly like mushrooms, but this is quite a mild one. My favourite's carrot and ginger. I love that. That's just literally chopping some carrots and popping them in the soup maker. Every soup takes 20 minutes to make. Okay.
So then after you've, chopping mushrooms can be
That's lovely. That's fine. You don't need to go any slower than that. So whip the lid off.
So off like.
I'll hold that for you, mate.
Thank you very much, Mother. Alright, we need to put all of our ingredients in. So we've got another load of mushrooms here.
Excellent. Some actually made it in the jar. A handful of onions, I think, is enough for this one.
Yes,
And they're chopped quite small.
A huge fan of onions. Ooh,
Lovely.
they make me too. And we also need a garlic clove. So the way you do this,
Well, the way you do this.
the way I do this, put it on a chopping board or a flat surface.
Okay, so that does bruise the garlic. This isn't chopping it. Once it comes out,
So we just take the clove and we break it up.
Okay.
Put it in there. You don't need to break
That's
it up too
enough.
much.
That's far too much already. That's fine. And I think we quite like the skin of the garlic in our soup, don't we, Jack? So that's good. And then stock.
Oh yes, so we have a stock cube and we're going to take a cup of boiling water and we're going to pop the stock cube with a spoon. Spoon is essential.
Just take the lid off.
Take the lid off.
Pull.
Pop. Ah!
Oh dear. Oh, well, we'll leave that on.
Yeah. Doesn't need to come off. Oh, and it just comes straight.
It doesn't need to melt. If we just pour the whole thing in,
there.
if we can dissolve it, that would be great. Okay.
Okay, and then we just pour that load
Perfect. Okay, and then
into.
our final ingredient is a tiny bit of cream.
Now you want a teaspoonful, but
A little bit more, just that's fine. A glug. Brilliant.
A glug.
We've made this recipe up, haven't we, Jack? We haven't actually practiced this one.
no.
But we've been making soup for so long now, we pretty much know what works. Okay.
So I'm going to set this to creamed soup.
Yeah, so we know that by pushing the button creamed and pushing that button, that will now just work its magic. And we leave it there for 20 minutes. So while that's happening, we're going to make some muffins, and they are Welsh rarebit savoury muffins. And for that, Jack, we just need 1 bowl, 2 bowl. What do we put in that bowl?
First of all, we take the dry ingredients, and we put them all into this bowl.
So that is plain flour, and that is self-raising flour. So we've got 125 grams of self-raising and just 50 grams of the plain flour.
We've already sieved this.
Yes, we haven't just
you should
guessed
sieve
it.
it.
And that is bicarbonate of soda and also a pinch of baking powder and some salt. So that's the dry ingredients. The wet ingredients
Shake it up.
is
Cheese.
cheese, because it's a cheese muffin. I know you don't think this is a wet
But
ingredient.
it's not. Cheese is dry.
Well, we'll agree to differ on for this purpose. That's oil.
Oil.
So that's 6 tablespoonfuls of vegetable oil, 125 grams of milk.
Love, love, love.
Make sure all goes in. Okay. Now we have Greek yogurt. That can be plain yogurt if you haven't got Greek. And all of these items can be purchased in Prince's Risborough. We've got Godwin's the baker, and we've also got K&B Butchers, and they sell a variety of dairy products at the moment. Okay, lovely.
How much of the Greek yogurt, Mum?
So that's 125, and I'm just going, because Jack's a shocker for leaving bits in the bottom, and if you've perfectly measured it out, it's really important that we scrape and don't waste, isn't it? Okay, what's this?
Do what she said. This is Worcestershire sauce.
Okay,
Worcestershire sauce.
okay. Do you like Worcestershire sauce?
Well, I like the flavour crisps, but I'm not a huge fan
Of the sauce. So if you just shake that about 5 times,
1, 2,
lovely.
3,
Fine.
4.
No, that's fine. Sorry, I meant 5 drops.
Oh,
But we like ours very strongly flavoured.
okay. Now we're going to take an egg,
We are.
and you can just crack it in.
Yes.
But we are going to make some Eggman Crest people thingies.
Okay, while you're doing that, I shall show what we're doing.
We just want to take the top off.
So we don't have a garden, do we, Jack? So
we
we
do not.
grow lots of indoor plants, and this is something we've been growing during lockdown. That's fine. I thought that might happen. So we're taking the top off with one of these. Usually they use the hard-boiled eggs, but if you squash it like that and turn it, you get a really nice hat that can be binned. The egg goes in the dish. this dish.
Whoa.
Okay. And then we've got a perfect shell. Oh, that's a shame. Okay. That we can then use to fill with soil and some herbs. But doesn't always work, does it, Jack?
Doesn't.
We can put that on someone's compost heap, not our own. Okay. So what we have now is a bowl of dry ingredients and a bowl of wet ingredients, and this is how simple it gets. We are just going to tip the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. All of it goes in, perfect. And how many times do we stir this, Jack?
12.
12. 12 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Stop.
6, 7.
So what we're trying to aim to do is get the flour incorporated, but without actually beating or whisking. So it will look really lumpy and quite wet, which is what we like. It really looks most unattractive. How many times is that?
4. More than you should have.
That's absolutely perfect. So that is our muffin mixture. Now I'm going to bring the muffin trays over. And you might be like us. You just use the muffin cases that you've got lying around at home, and they might not all match. So we've got 3 red and we've got 6 white ones, and we just simply fill these up. And this is something children, I think, quite enjoy doing, although you don't really like getting messy, do you, Jack? You don't like anything on your hands.
I'm quite green-fingered, so quite enjoy that.
For somebody without a garden, I have no idea.
Well,
Keep going. You help Granny in the allotment, don't you?
I do. That's a lot of fun.
And it is really difficult at the moment because we're not able to see our grandparents. And sometimes what we do is we Zoom, don't we? And put Granny on Zoom so she can see what we're doing. And she sometimes gives us tips from her living room about how we can improve our cookery.
She does.
Who makes the best cottage pie?
Oh, definitely Granny.
See, it's a good job that I've got a thick skin, really, isn't it?
Very good job.
Because is there anything I do better in the kitchen than Granny?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I don't mind you
Is it
being
a
honest.
yes or no answer?
Well, there's shades of yes and no, isn't there? Okay, so we fill the cases equally. And while we're doing that, we can see our soup is working its magic. Oh, that smells nice already. Keep going, Jack. Okay, so that's very, very simple. We'll finish the whole bowl very quickly. I'll do this bit. And we're trying to get them equal. We're not doing bake-off here, so no one's judging us on this. The only way we're judging it is on taste, but it does help to help them bake evenly if the cases have got an equal amount of mixture in. So that looks pretty equal, I would say. We'll put that bowl in that bowl, and then we bake those in a preheated oven, and that's preheated to 200 degrees centigrade, and we do that for 20 minutes. So our soup is getting ready, and will be ready in about another 15 minutes. We've put our muffins in the oven, and what we're going to do now is something that is really good fun. If we bring the ingredients over.
Contains a pot.
You explain, and I'll bring this over.
Contains a pot and salad.
Yeah.
It's called a salad pot.
Salad pot.
Salad pot.
And there is a method for making a salad pot or salad jar.
Wettest at the bottom, driest at the top. Is
So that's-
driest a word?
Yes. Yes. That is the most dry of all things. So the first thing we do is we're going to make a salad dressing, and that goes right on the bottom of the jar. So first of all, if I bring the ingredients, we've got amazing cider vinegar, and this is from Dawes Vineyard, which is a local vineyard. Do you know a man came over to a farm and planted a load of vines to grow grapes to make wine and apples to make cider, and this is the result of his. That was about 20 years ago, and now his daughter Holly runs the vineyard, and she's given us some lovely ciders.
Thanks, Holly.
Okay.
Olive oil.
Okay.
Some honey.
So we have, go through the ingredients. That's for later.
sauce.
That's not going in our dressing.
And a little bit of salt.
of salt. So, first of all, roughly,
And mustard.
and this is very rough, we put cider, we put about 1/3 of a cup. So we'll just tip a bit of that in. And then we put slightly more oil. So say 1/4 of a cup of cider and 1/3 of a cup of oil. Doo-doo. And then if you want to open the Coleman's mustard, Jack, this is mustard powder.
Oh.
And just put a pinch of that in there. Lovely. Just a pinch, mate. Lovely, that's fine. Great. And then honey.
Honey.
And this is our Buckingham. We're really well known for honey in the Chilterns, in Buckinghamshire in particular. And this is from one of our local honey suppliers. And we bought this at Godwin's bakery. So we put a teaspoon of that, sweetens it up. Have you got some garlic left from your earlier smash? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, put that in. Great. And then we give it a bit of a whisk up.
Oh, don't we need some salt?
Tiny bit, tiny bit. Okay. Great. A pinch of that. Great. Lovely. Yep, that's your chefing quality. Thank you. Then get rid of that. Put it in the sink rather than throw it over everyone. Usually the cat gets a load of salt on it when Jack's finished with his salt. Throws it flamboyantly over his shoulder. Okay, whisk that up, mate, while I clean up a bit.
The garlic clove won't whisk that.
No, the garlic clove won't disintegrate, but it will get a flavour. And if you wanted to incorporate the garlic properly into the dressing, you would chop that or even put it through a garlic press to make it fine. Okay, that's lovely. So there is no proper ingredient, is there?
No, it's just...
No set ingredients. You get your jar,
Okay. Where's it gone?
the see-through one without the honey in it.
Oh, that one.
Okay, and put tiny bits of the oil in at the beginning. I'll hold the pot. So I would say
it's very strong.
it's quite strong. A bit more, That's it, lovely. Stop. And then move that out the way. Then what do you think the wettest ingredient here is?
In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's
That wasn't
tomatoes.
leading you.
Tomatoes and cucumber.
Yes, so we're going to layer them up in a kind of a rainbow pattern. Well, obviously they're not the colours of the rainbow, because we haven't got any blue foods here today. And keep going.
I want it to be nice and layered.
Okay. This is a brilliant thing to take on a picnic. If you were going on a picnic for your walk, you don't need to sit down and eat this. You could eat it walking along, couldn't you, Jack, if you had a fork? But if you find a tree to sit on, I'm sure that no one would mind terribly right now if on your walk you had your salad. And also, some people are still working, and this is a great thing to take to work and pop in your fridge in the workplace and then get it out at lunchtime. And I think it's to make a great school dinner. Quite filling, aren't they? Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't really like tomatoes, so
Okay.
this isn't up my street.
Okay, and then
Okay. Now, for a second wettest
you
ingredient.
can use your hand, I think, because we're all going to eat it. If you were making it for someone else, you'd probably persist with the spoon.
Yeah, but Oh, it's still a bit tomato.
So you enjoying lockdown, Jack?
Well, depends what you mean by enjoying.
What are you missing most about school?
Seeing other people.
Yeah, that's it, seeing your friends. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to do things together where we wouldn't normally on the bright side. And you love that, don't you?
I do.
Who would you rather play with, your friends or me?
You don't want to tell us like
No, I don't. I hope I know the answer. I hope it's your friends.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So now we're going to move to the slightly drier ingredients.
Okay, now 10 points if you know what that is.
Pepper.
Yes, Dad's allergic to it, so we never have it in our hands, do we?
Nope.
Okay, whack it all in then, mate.
Oh.
So our soup is really nearly done. I can smell it. We're going to feed the whole crew, hopefully, aren't we, with this?
Oh.
Well, actually, if they
Oh.
haven't seen you make it.
It's very strong, this, isn't it?
Yeah, what, the smells?
Oh, everything about
That's
it.
all right, whack it in.
Oh, God.
I think people would enjoy doing this.
Yes, I do. It's
Yeah.
a very enjoyable activity, I think.
Okay, and now then pop those in then. So you won't get it perfectly linear. You will get shades of colour, I think. And then when you actually come to eat it, I would give it a good shake to get the dressing up to the top.
Really?
Yes, I would.
A shake?
Okay, I'll do the carrot. Would you say I'm quite impatient in the kitchen, Jack?
Oh, you don't want me to answer that.
No, I sometimes have to walk away, don't I, and
You
leave
don't
you
like
to
me
do it.
answering any of these questions. You want to push it down?
Yeah, we can push it down because now we put...
We put the protein in.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
we're putting...
in this case, it's tuna and sweet corn.
What does that look like? Looks a bit like our cat would eat that.
Looks like what she's chucked.
No, we don't need to go there. But she did leave you a present on your windowsill, didn't she? Okay.
Okay.
That's beautiful. And
now we put in some grain.
yeah. So this could be grain. This is a little bit of bulgur wheat, but you can also put rice. You can put pasta. That's lovely. That I think might be a step too far, Jack. I think that looks really lovely. You could put nuts on top of that. You could then put your leaves. We won't because I don't think there'll be room.
Oh, come on. We've got leaves here.
I know, but we can put those at the side as a garnish. Right, so what we're going to do is clean up and then get our muffins out of the cupboard. Oh, yes. Okay. Good boy. You're going to clean up?
I am.
Well done. Not onto the floor, onto your hand.
I know.
Well done. I've got him brilliantly trained. Now, because our muffins are looking absolutely beautiful, but we made some earlier, didn't we? So we're going to use those to plate up.
There's two.
Okay. And what have I come over here for? The plates. Okay. So you just put it in the sink for a second, and then we'll get somebody to clean it up afterwards. And then we can put some of now you can put some of your leaves, and they haven't been dressed, but we can just put them in front of those. Do you like making it look pretty?
Oh my God, that's my speciality.
Right, okay, well now you've promised it, let's see you deliver.
It's making the food look nice.
What
The preparation isn't as
Yeah, what do people eat with?
their souls.
Their eyes. Their souls as well, I'm sure.
She's a very spiritual person.
Okay, so we've got our muffins. If these are quite bland for you, because they are just cheese and a bit of Worcester sauce, you can put all sorts of things in them. You can put sun-dried tomatoes, you can put some olives in there, and some feta cheese works really well to give it some bite. And you can also add something like, you could even add a tiny, tiny weeny bit of wine to make a kind of like a fondue savoury muffin. We've done that before when we were playing around in the kitchen. Now, is that soup cooking? What we're going to...
It's steaming.
It's steaming. It's going to take a while, so what I'll tell you a little bit more about the basket. So, Jack, you can tell everybody what the Risborough basket is and how you've been helping.
The Risborough basket is a box scheme, and what we're doing is, because high street businesses right now are struggling for business because no one's going to come to their shops in the middle of a pandemic, so instead we've decided we would take all of their... we're not going to rob them. We're just going to, people can order online what they would want, and we'll go to the bakers or an office or farmer's market or any of the shops, and we will take what we need, and then we'll give it to the people who want it.
So they phone up and order by phone while they stay at home. The shops have their doors closed when they're taking the orders. They parcel it up into sealed bags, and then we deliver it to your doorstep free of charge if you live in the Princes Risborough borough or the villages around it. I think the soup will nearly be done. What we'll do is we will show you a little bit about how Risborough Basket is operating in real life.
My name's Alan Turner. I'm a local councillor, town councillor for Princes Risborough, and also of the Unitary Authority Buckinghamshire Council. I'm here today, runs the Risborough Basket. Risborough Basket is something that was set up to help out in the coronavirus emergency. Our aim is to provide fresh fruit and vegetables to the very vulnerable and those who are self-isolating within the community. We're here in this room today, which is normally a daycare centre for the very vulnerable members of the community. However, we had to close down during the emergency, so we've converted the main hall here to, as you can see around us, to provide the fresh fruit and vegetables as a distribution centre. We're here today as a team of volunteers, and we receive our produce direct from the wholesale markets in London, and then we pick and pack according to whatever customers require, and it's picked, packed by volunteers. It's then sorted, graded, and then it's distributed again by volunteer drivers who deliver straight to the customer's front door. It's part and parcel of a much broader project that was organised by the Town Council to help keep the high street shops going through this particular crisis. All of those shops that are shut down who want to take part in the scheme, they are still able to take orders over the phone or via the internet. They then make their own sales, and then during the course of the afternoon their products are brought here and they're sorted and put with our own fruit and veg deliveries, and they go out and that's all delivered direct to the customer's door as well. So as well as helping those who are self-isolating, it's also helping to keep the retail shops in our high street alive. So in order to place an order, you simply phone through, and one of our volunteer operatives will take your order, and providing we have those items in stock on the day, fresh produce will be delivered to your front door within a matter of hours. Same day delivery, and we have volunteers who will pack very carefully, and we're sure you'll be pleased with your parcel once you receive it. So if you'd like to place an order, simply go to the Risborough Basket website, and all the contact details you'll find there.
Okay, I think that's the soup done, Jack.
Okay, so let's unplug it and have a look.
This is an exciting time, isn't it, to see what it looks like.
Quite hot, isn't it?
Yes, it will be hot. So we
Ooh,
pour it.
that looks quite nice.
Does it? And good.
It does.
Pour it into the bowl. Lovely. That's quite a big bowl of soup. We're doing this for show purposes only. This would probably feed about 4 people. Pop that back, Jack. Fantastic. Also, we can get a little bit of garnish if we want to. This is a bit of coriander in your Lego pot that you made the other day. Spread that over the top.
Just makes it look that much more appetizing.
Yes, quite a dull colour otherwise, isn't it? So that brings the colour. And I've got this sauce, Ozilala sauce, which is you can buy today, right now on Risborough Basket, and it's a very hot mango sauce, which I think will be lovely with the muffins. So we will try some of that as well on the side. And we've put some butter with the muffins because we think that will really work well together, and there won't be any need for any bread either. Okay, do you want to tuck in and try a tiny weeny bit?
I think it's going to be pretty hot.
It will be hot, so take it from the edge. So the whole thing took 20 minutes from start to finish. Lots of fruit and vegetables in there, and actually there is no meat apart from the tuna in the pot. So it's really easy to adapt if you're a vegetarian, and even vegan if you use a substitute egg in the muffin. And no cheese or vegan cheese. Lovely. Okay, brilliant. Well, that was good fun, wasn't it? We got through it. Now back to your homework, and we'll watch everybody else. Have a really good food festival, and thank you very much for watching.
Hello, I'm Lottie and welcome to my short video. Today I'm going to make some really yummy dog's biscuits for my favourite dog in the whole wide world, Hugo. In the next few minutes I will show you how to make some delicious dog biscuits. a big hit with any disconcerting doggy. And they're really easy to make. To make your dog biscuits, all you need is a cup of pumpkin puree, a quarter of a cup of dog-friendly peanut butter, 2 large eggs, half a cup of porridge oats, 3 cups of whole wheat flour, a carrot peeled and shredded, a courgette shredded, and a cup of baby spinach chopped. We bought all these yummy fresh vegetables off the Risborough basket. And lastly, we need a cookie cutter, but we haven't got a bone shape, so we're using a gingerbread man. I don't think Hugo will mind. Now, for some parts of this, you may need to ask an adult to help you. Firstly, we need to preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which I'm told is apparently 350 degrees Fahrenheit or Gus Mark 4. Then we'll need to line a baking sheet with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat and put it to one side. We will need this in a minute. Now, ideally you would add the pumpkin puree, peanut butter and eggs into the bowl of an electric mixer and use the paddle it on a medium-high until well combined, for about 1 to 2 minutes. But we haven't got one of those, so we're going to use a handheld electric mixer. I hope it does the job. Here goes. Pumpkin puree. Peanut butter. Now we've done that, we have to add the eggs. Now we have to beat it for 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, that looks good. Next we start gradually adding all the other ingredients in. But I'm going to need an extra pair of hands for this. So we gradually add all the old-fashioned oats in, and then we mix it. Now we add some of the flour. We add a little bit of the flour. Now beat it. Now I add an additional cup of quarter cup of flour at a time until the dough is no longer sticky. We put the carrot in as well. Now we add the courgette and spinach. The mixture starts getting really tight, so you might need to ask an adult to help you with this. And you keep on beating that. I had to ask my mum to help with this. So you beat that until it's done. you add the rest of the flour in gradually. When you're finished, your mixture should look something like this. Then working on a lightly floured surface, knead the dough 3 to 4 times until it comes together. So we're going to try and get it out of the bowl. Don't worry if it's a bit sticky, you can always put a bit some more flour on there. So now we're going to work with this. You might need to ask an adult to help you with it. If it looks like I was trying to get an adult to help you. So it all got a bit sticky, but after a while we got there. We kneaded the dough a few times until it came together. Then, using a rolling pin, we rolled the dough to 3/4 of a centimetre thickness. Next, using our cookie cutter, cut out the biscuit shapes, and then when you're ready, place them on your tin. Give it a shake around so that, like, when you take it out, it doesn't get stuck. And then try pull it apart. And then ideally lift it up. Without squishing it. And now we put it on here. And we keep on doing that process until we've got a tin full of dog biscuits. So we cut out all our dog biscuits and now it's time to put them in the oven. Now that we have finished that, we have to tidy up and put everything in the wash. So here are our biscuits. We just took them out of the oven and we're now letting them cool. Let's see if Hugo likes the biscuits.
Okay.
Sit. High five. And sit. High five. Sit. High five. Good boy. You're so cute. Do that again. And if we can get all in one go. Oh. Not sure what to.
Hi, I'm Jack and I hope you're enjoying the Princess Risborough Food Festival so far. So now I'm going to show you some arts and crafts for you to make out of things that are just lying around the house. We're going to make some Fruit Friends stress balls. So meet Billy Banana, Pauline the Pear and Ollie Orange. They're lots of fun to play with and if you're a bit stressed out, you can just stretch them and mould them into any shape because you can see she's gone from Pauline Pear to Pauline Pickle. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Okay, now I'm going to set our little friends aside so they don't get in the way. I'm going to show you what you need. You need a balloon, some wool, an old bottle which you can have lying around, some flour, and an old piece of paper which you should make into a funnel, but I'll show you how to do that later. I've got an older Risborough basket leaflet here, but you can use whatever you want. and finally some scissors. If you should have this lying around, but if you don't, the balloons are easily able to get from Art and Office and the wool from Sally's Sewing Box. You can get those right now from the Princess Risborough website, which should be on the screen right here. So, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start off by filling the balloon with flour. We'll get our flour, water, bottle, sorry, and our paper from earlier. Now, you need to roll up your paper into a funnel and stick some sellotape so it's easier to get the flour into the bottle. If you've got a cup or something, you want to make sure it's got a narrow edge so it's easier to pour in. And you need to do it slowly. You will get some over you, but that happens. But you need to take it slow. And see, yeah. Don't do this in your bedroom or your living room. Do it somewhere like the kitchen, so it's okay if you get messy. It's not the easiest thing to do, but I don't know. Okay, right. Okay. Let's continue. And you want to put enough flour in, so it will be roughly the same amount that will fill up that. So I think that we've got enough here. Might get a little more. Pour it down. And we can put our funnel back. Now we've got our flour here. We now want to stretch the balloon over the bottle and put the flour in. Oh god, it's not easy. But sorry, no. First we need to blow up the balloon. Okay, you don't want to do it that much, just want to do it a small amount. Okay, that'll be enough. And this bit's the tricky bit, you might want someone to help you with this. But you want to stretch the balloon top over the bottle. All over. If you hear some air coming out, it's not fully over, so you need to... I don't know why it's making that sound. Right, okay. Now, we're ready to fill up our balloon. So you want to hold it, so it doesn't come off, but it shouldn't. And you want to squeeze the bottle a bit to try and get flour in. Depending on how big your balloon is, shouldn't take long. Right, you now want to hold your balloon very tight and take it off. Now pulling won't work, but you need to, it's just easy. Right, now we've got it off, we don't need our water bottle anymore, and we want to slowly let the air out. We don't want to do it too fast, because we'll get flour in our faces, like that. Okay, right, now, I think I've used up all of the air. Yep. And if there's a bit on the top, you can just pop it back into your surface. And right, now we've got that. We'll want to tie the balloon. So I don't find tying balloons that easy, but hey, how hard can it be? Alright. No, that didn't work. Sorry about this. This isn't very entertaining to watch, I don't think. Yay! Right, now we've tied up our balloon. We can move on to step 2, decoration. Okay, I'm now going to decorate it. So I don't want this to be any old thing. You could just leave it at this. You could make it a sphere. This works perfectly well as a stress ball, but I want to make it into a fruit friend, or in this case a vegetable friend. I'm going to make it into an aubergine because I quite like aubergines and it's purple, so that kind of fits. So I'm going to mould it into the shape of an aubergine. So that looks quite nice. That looks aubergine-ish, doesn't it? Do you think? Yeah, I agree with you. That's if you said it looks good. If you said it looks bad, I disagree with you. Okay, so now we're going to start on the hair. This is made out of wool. This is just a mould, so if you want some good wool, you can get it from Sally's Sewing Box right now at risboroughbasket.co.uk. Website should be here. And we're going to wrap the hair around our hands. We want to keep it nice and loose so we can get it off easily. I've got quite a lot of string here, so depending on how fluffy you want the hair. Okay, I'd say that's enough. Now we're just going to cut it off. Okay, now this is some excess wool. You can make pom-poms with this. So if you want to make pom-poms, keep watching. Lynn is going to do a tutorial on that later. And now I want to tie it onto here. So we want to slightly short a bit. And we're going to put our things, we're going to put our hair onto there. We're going to tie it. I'm not the best at tying knots, as we've seen, but we want to tie it tight in the middle twice, because 2 is a good number. We want it to be very secure indeed. Okay, now we've done that, we can tie this around the aubergine. We need to get its head. This isn't that easy, but we'll try. Aha! This isn't my strong point, making hair for aubergines, believe it or not. I don't do this often, but okay, if we tie that around it twice again, because 2 is a magic number. Okay. Now, we don't want it to have curly hair. If you do, you can leave it as it is, but we want it to have free, interesting hair. So, we want to find the loop, and we want to cut through it with our scissors. Now, it's got nice and lovely, gorgeous, luscious hair. Okay. Right, look at that. Alright, we've got a bit of excess here, so we can snip that off. Snip, and we can put that with our excess wool. And put our scissors back in the pot. And now we've got a nice aubergine with hair. But do you know what really makes an aubergine? The face. So, I'm going to get a pen. You can use any colour pen, but I strongly recommend black. Because if you don't use black, it won't show up that well and it won't be able to be distinctive as a face. So I'm not the best artist in the world, but I'm going to attempt to draw a little face. Oh God! Hopefully, yes, this is a pen that rubs off. So he's quite an old aubergine, so he's going to have some forehead wrinkles. And some nice eyebrows. And there you have it. What should we call him? Okay, so we don't want Ollie Aubergine to be alone, so we'll bring in some of his little friends. Right, so you can see their faces have smudged a bit. That's because I'm not using a very good pen. I strongly recommend you use a Sharpie. That way their faces won't rub out and they'll be the same forever. And thank you so much for watching. If you've made anything like this, please don't forget to send it in to this address here. We'd love to see your pictures. Stay tuned because later we're going to be making some juggling balls out of rice. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Hope you
Hello, my name is Tracy Mann and I have a business called Tracy Mann Cakes, and I'm based in the village of Longwick in Buckinghamshire, and today I'm going to show you how to use these Bumblebee chocolate lollipop kits. So let's have a look at what you get inside of your kit. So inside of your kit you will get a bag of chocolate, you will get a strip of transfer sheet which has bumblebees on it. That's what you're going to use to put the bumblebees onto your chocolate. You'll also get a little bag containing lollipop sticks, bags and ties, and most importantly a recipe card, and inside of here are all the instructions of how you need to assemble your chocolate lollipop.